Hi, welcome to Field and Frame. On today's video we're going to be putting together an end table. I had previously cut the pieces out and this is just gluing them together to make the base frame for the end table. Right here I have all my table legs laid out, and this is going to be a small table. I think the top's about 12 inches by 12 inches roughly. The wood type is ash, I believe. At least that's what I was told by the person that gave me the wood. It's all been planed down to the same thickness, and then I made L-shaped legs on the table saw, got those glued together, and as you can see I have the side pieces that we're going to use. I'm trying to sort those by which ones look the best, and I'm going to put the better looking ones on the top so that they're not so that the ones that don't look as good are not seen. The ones that don't look as good have a few marks in them from the planer that I don't think will sand out fully. I think they'll sand out pretty well, but not fully. Right here you can see I'm just sorting through there. I was trying to find some legs that I could put together to have a full face like you can see there. I wasn't able to do that just by the way the legs were cut out, but that won't matter because we're going to stain this anyway. We're going to do a dark walnut stain just to match the rest of the furniture in our house. But I have previously used a dark walnut stain on this ash type wood and it turned out very well, so we're just going to stick with that. I'm trying to get that first side piece in, and those dowels are 3/8 inch dowels and the holes drilled in. The legs are 3/8 inch with a doweling jig, so there's quite a bit of friction there. The wood glue I'm using is just Gorilla wood glue, nothing special. I just had it left over from another project I had been working on. Normally I would use Titebond. I think that's what I used on the legs previously, but these legs have been sitting in the garage for almost a year now. I had made a goof there, and that slit that you can see on the back side of the side piece there, that needs to face up because that's going to hold our hardware that holds the top of this table on. So I had to pull that back out, and I'm gluing it back in on the other side, and then I'm going to add the other side piece and add both to one leg and then add the other leg onto it. And that way I don't have to try to fight pulling the top piece apart. On this, a rubber mallet's very useful, but I think a woodworking clamp would have worked better. I just didn't have that in my hand yet. So, as you can see there, I've got the slit in that side piece facing up, and to cut that out I just used a table saw that wasn't at full depth. You can also see I put that knot. You can kind of see it on the other side, the nice side, but I tried to hide that knot as best I could. But it's also wood, so there's going to be knots and cracks and things, so it's just part of it. Makes it look a little bit more rustic. And I'm using the rubber mallet just to get those pieces smashed together. Grabbed a woodworking clamp to get those pressed together as best as possible. Having more than one woodworking clamp is always a good idea. And you can see that is the final side. It's one side of the final product. And now I'm going to do the same thing for the other side, and then we'll put the two together. So I'm just kind of speeding through the same process I just took, making sure that those slits are facing up. Using the wood clamp to smash them together. You can kind of see the glue coming out of the end grain there. There was a crack in the end grain, but the fact that it's got glue pressed all the way through it is good, so it'll just hold that together. Because the wood glue is actually, that is going to be stronger than the wood itself. pointing that out there. And that part's not going to be seen once the top is on it, so it doesn't really matter what that looks like. I've got the two pieces put together, and then I'm going to situate the side pieces, all four of them, into one side that I have put together, and then I will flip that and put the other side piece on. If you can see closely in there, I had a little mistake and I used a Kreg jig to drill that out and fill it with a piece of dowel. So I'm just getting plenty of wood glue in all of these holes. It's probably overkill, but I don't want it to come apart. Here, instead of flipping that with all the wood glue in it, I decided to set that down flat and flip this piece. That way I didn't have wood glue running everywhere out of 8 different holes. And then some of the dowels aren't perfectly straight, so I had to kind of force those in there, but once they're all in their hole locations, then they start to just kind of fall into place. But still use that woodworking clamp to smash them together, and that just helps get even pressure there. I couldn't quite get it with the wood clamp, so I used the rubber mallet again, and then just the final squeeze to get them completely flush there. And then I'm cleaning up the wood glue as I go, just to make sure I don't have to sand that off or sand off a lot of it. You can kind of see there's a mar from the planer. But that's about all we're going to get to today, and on the next video of this series I'll show putting the top on, and then it's also going to have a lower shelf that sits on top of those lower pieces. And I'll show the final product here in just a second. That's what it looks like. Thanks for watching Field and Frame. Please like and subscribe.